Alright guys, the Lakers have had Luka-Doncic for a couple of games now, and while that's obviously a luxury for them, an absolute luxury, it is very different and it has and will continue to come with trial and error. After all, Luka is very different than Anthony Davis, whether you're talking about the position they play at, the way they play, both offensively and defensively, or the way they fit around other guys in their team, primarily guys like Lebron James, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura, the previous and still current three in their starting lineup. It definitely is a lot different. And to accommodate that, they now have to figure out their best new lineup combinations, not only their starting lineup, but then their closing lineup and their rotation throughout the entire game. So we're going to talk about that, talk about their best starting lineup combination or combinations, their current one and how it's working, along with their best rotation combos throughout the game. But before we get too far into it, don't forget to check out g2a.com for the best deals in your favorite games, credits, and everything digital entertainment. You can check them out in the video description down below. But now getting back to our topic, and like I said, we gotta find and they gotta find the best lineup combinations if they're gonna make Luka-Doncic fit and really work around the other guys in their rotation, primarily the main guys and definitely in their starting lineup as well. They gotta find the best combination. And well, beginning with their current starting lineup, it's been good but definitely wouldn't call it great so far. Up until this point, only 2 games again, and with Jackson Hayes getting hurt, they've only played 13 minutes together so far, and in that time frame, they have an offensive rating of 110.3, which would currently rank 24th in the NBA, a defensive rating of 106.9, which would actually rank 2nd in the NBA, and then a net rating of plus 3.4, which would be tied for 8th. Again, not bad, but not great. They definitely have room to grow offensively, which I think is pretty much a guarantee for them, with Luka-Doncic getting more comfortable within their offense, learning their playbook better and having more plays drawn up for him, and then the fit improvement between himself and LeBron, between himself and Austin Reeves, and between all 3 of them, that will get better over time and should directly improve their offense. But then again, the defense likely regress with their offensive improvement. After all, both games and all 13 minutes of that lineup did come against the Utah Jazz, and despite Utah not being a terrible offense, they're not a good opponent in general and probably not a good representation of their defense. And then on top of that, that lineup doesn't have a single good perimeter defender in there. Between Luka-Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Rui Hachimura, not much good perimeter defense in there and probably not a good representation of what they can do going forward with them. And with that in mind, I will be looking to make a change, albeit a slight one. They need more defense, but they need more defense without sacrificing their 3-point shooting. A good, reliable 3-point shooter, a good floor spacer, a good off-ball player in general, you need that around LeBron and Luka. But then again, a good defender, a good perimeter defender, ideally a switchable defender, one that can defend both the perimeter and the post of them. And there's really only one guy that fits that criteria for them, that being Dorian Finney-Smith. But with that being said, should he replace Rui Hachimura or Jackson Hayes? And well, the lineup data says that he should replace Jackson Hayes. Believe it or not, the 5-man lineup combination of Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, and Max Christie. Yes, Christie, I know they traded him, but the 4-man combination with Christie, simply think about Luka-Doncic replacing Christie here, but that lineup combination had an offensive rating of 121.2, which would currently be number 1 in the entire league, a defensive rating of 69.4, which would be number 1 by about 30 points, and then a net rating of plus 51.8, which would definitely be number 1 and really is off the charts. In fact, that's the best net rating of any lineup that's played for them this season, that's played 15 or more minutes together. Now again, obviously you gotta replace Christie with Luka here, but it should be an effective 5-man lineup combination for them regardless. Maybe some defensive regression, but overall a good fit, with the 5-man combo of Luka-Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Rui Hachimura. But should that be their starting lineup? In my opinion, probably not. It definitely should be an every game lineup for them and probably their closing lineup at that, but maybe not their starting lineup. After all, they need that lob threat for Luka-Doncic, and to begin the game, they're going to be bigger teams that match up with them, so probably don't want to go small ball right away. Again, the lineup data would point to Hachimura and Dorian Finney-Smith being their best front court, but I think Hayes should be in their starting lineup and begin the game with Luka-Doncic, opening up their offense with that lob threat, and begin the game for bigger matchups too. However, they can and really should incorporate that small ball lineup as well. I think it should be their closing lineup more often than not, and although they haven't played together that much, it's been a very productive time that they have played together. In 8 total minutes so far, they have an offensive rating of 147.1, a defensive rating of 88.9, and a net rating of plus 58.2. So again, very good and very telling of what they can do together, both offensively and defensively. Yes, they might be missing that true center, but they're definitely a lot more mobile, have more three-point shooting, a lot more switchable on defense, and a good collection of guys that can do a lot of things to them, which translates pretty well to a close lineup. Obviously not for every matchup, and it will be dependent on how both Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves are shooting for them, but I think more often than not, that will turn out to be their closing lineup, and probably should be as well. But quickly going back to their starting lineup and what I think it has to be and really should be for them, yes, I would replace Hachimura with Dorian Finney-Smith. I think that's the only way of getting more defense without sacrificing the three-point shooting. Dorian Finney-Smith gives them better perimeter defense and post defense compared to Hachimura, and similar three-point shooting, even more high-volume three-point shooting compared to Hachimura. And no, it's not a punishment per se for Hachimura, it's simply by necessity for their team and for the best way for them to fit at the beginning of the game, and for their rotation fit in general too. He might even thrive coming off their bench. I think he probably would. He'd get way more opportunity, probably more plays thrown out for him directly, and theoretically he should be able to take advantage of that too. Again, not a punishment for Hachimura, simply by necessity and simply by fit for their starting lineup. If they're going to keep Hayes in there, which I think they really do need to, then I think the best option for them would be replacing Hachimura with Dorian Finney-Smith. Again, definitely have opportunity to bring Hachimura back in there for a close lineup or simply throughout the game, but the starting lineup should be with Hayes in there and probably Dorian Finney-Smith over Rui Hachimura. Apart from that though, as I do think we tend to prioritize the starting lineup a bit too much, I'd rather talk more about the closing lineup and the rotation in general. And while we already touched on the closing lineup, not really about the bench combinations and who to pair both Luka-Doncic and LeBron James with individually, so one option for that would actually be one that's been working for them. Post Anthony Davis trade, they've turned to a 5-man lineup combination of LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves, and Dalton Connect. Another smaller lineup for them, but plenty of length and defense between Jared Vanderbilt and Finney-Smith, interchanging between power forward and center for them, with another big wing or whatever you want to call him in LeBron James. Decent rebounding, decent rim protection, very switchable defense, and really good three-point shooting on top of it. When LeBron comes back in and Luka-Doncic goes out, usually around the 5-minute mark in the first quarter or the third quarter, I'd try a lineup out like this one. You know, maybe replace Dalton Connect with Hachimura if we're bringing him off the bench too, but some kind of combination like that one. That one currently has an offensive rating of nearly 147, a defensive rating of 126.7, so it does need some work in that department, but overall a net rating of plus 20, showing that it does have a good combination to work with, maybe a little bit more defensive improvement again, which might be attainable by replacing Dalton Connect with a guy like Gabe Vincent, Jordan Goodwin, maybe Rui Hachimura slightly, but not much there. It is something to work with, and a good combination to bring off the bench for LeBron James. But then from the other side of that, unfortunately we don't have much data to look at with Luka-Doncic and no LeBron on the court, but if we are bringing Hachimura off the bench, a good fit would simply be replacing LeBron with Hachimura, then maybe replacing Austin Reeves with a Gabe Vincent to bring in more defense, or maybe a Jared Vanderbilt, or a Dalton Connect for more three-point shooting and movement shooting, but again, I don't think it would take that much here. If Hachimura is already coming off the bench for them, and yes, again I would make that move, then simply replace LeBron with Hachimura, gives them a somewhat similar offensive player and a somewhat similar defender. That would be a good combination for them, but you could really go on making combinations for hours here. Whether it's only around Luka-Doncic, only around LeBron, them playing separately, or together on the court, plenty of different combinations you can point to, but we don't have much data to point to with it quite yet. And until we do, I wouldn't make a big change. Whether you're talking about their starting lineup, closing lineup, or simply their rotation in general, I wouldn't go that far with it until we see more of them on the court together. But with that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about their current starting lineup, their current rotation, and what might be their best option for their closing lineup, and the data supporting it as well? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.